I kind of like show and tell, so I'm going to start by, before I show you the pretty pictures of it, I'm going to show you the physical object. So we took 20 volumes of this, and we took 20 volumes of this, which are about as brick and mortar as you can get. These are the people that build and sell bricks and mortar. It's Thomas Register, which is a 100-year-old manufacturing. Which way? There we go. And we went from those 40 volumes, which come with a bookcase and are, as of 3 years ago, stopped shipping in paper. And we basically built out a variety of different generations of technology. There were attempts to put it on CD until a couple of years ago, and we've been doing this for about 2 years on the cloud. Although from the world cloud perspective, we've always been the cloud. From a technology cloud perspective, we went from this group, which we're still migrating from, into Amazon Web Services, as well as some private cloud that we use for our own work. And to give you some idea, if we let's go. There's a couple of different pieces to this thing. We basically do primarily the search solutions, which is a piece of this, is the part that we've used the cloud most heavily with. And when I get to the last slide, I'll clarify that a little more. We've worked with Thomas to go from a print platform to a digital publishing platform, and then publish that on the cloud in a variety of different forms. It's a combination of a search engine or directory. I mean, you think of a Yahoo, you think of a Google. To some degree, the Thomas people and their salespeople think of themselves as a competitor to Google, although it's a lot of proprietary data, unlike what Google has. And those are the kinds of things. There's a whole news site. There's a whole variety of sub-sites that run this behind this thing. So this is sort of the physical flow of what we did. The specific case, and so you can go to thomasnet.com for those that have systems. This is basically what it looks like. The next generation, which is under non-disclosure, so nobody can replicate this, and if you take pictures, erase them immediately. This is what it's going to look like in another few months, which is now an ordering catalog. So we're going from a simple phone book now to actually being able to order parts. So we're talking industrial parts. We're talking bricks, mortar, lumber, manufacturing materials. I haven't even been paying attention to the time. You been watching?
Go ahead.
Okay. So what we did, and perhaps the best example I can give you, which of course I left my notes on my desk, is the first time we put this together, and this is the search part of it, the directory part has been put together going back even a few years, but the first time we turned this from a straight directory lookup into a search, it took us about 18 months to put the whole system together. And going back to Dave's example, that included figuring out what kind of machines were involved, actually ordering them, working out the contracts, all the rest of that, to the point where we had a running system. About 2 years ago, when we started on the next generation of that, combination of new search engine technology, new data sources, we started working with Amazon as a way to quickly be able to experiment and bring up prototypes. It took us closer to 2 weeks to bring up what amounts to the same configuration. Today, we can add an additional machine in about an hour. Now, it's a dedicated system, it's well-defined, so we've been able to package a lot of those pieces. The time that we put in, we learned a lot about the cloud. I don't know, how many people have been working with Amazon for more than 2 years here? Have we got anybody? Yeah, well, you don't count. You're one of our guys. So we got a couple of other people who've been working with it. A lot of the stuff they say in the trade and in the press and all the examples doesn't quite work that way. So there's a lot of things you learn. They're physical machines. They die. There's hardware underneath there. So there's all sorts of logistics that we've run into in terms of how do you actually use the cloud in a reliable way. One of the great things about this is the fact that if you need to spin up a new instance, you're trying something, you've got a new version, your cost of working with live systems. Up till now, we almost totally worked with live systems. So we would bring on a new system, we'd have load balancing, all the rest of that. But this stuff is still mainly operating. We were not really given the flexibility or the budget to be able to bring up prototype systems. Only in the last couple of years has our client even understood that you go from research and development to prototype, to bring it live, to test it, and then eventually production. They thought that once they show a prototype, about 2 weeks later it could go live. So it's been a lot of learning curve on all sides. But almost all the work in the last couple of years has been using some kind of a cloud base.
Thank you, Rich. One question?